wait!
We see our hero Mahiru, who is abandoned by his family, but taken in by his uncle. Mahiru grows up like a normal child, and even adopts a pet cat named Kuro. He also makes a group of friends, his best buddy being Sakuya. One day Sakuya suddenly mentions vampires attacking the people of the town, but Mahiru and the others don't take him seriously. Our hero comes back home and is shocked to see a mysterious man watching TV. Mahiru attacks him and flashes some light on the intruder. He is shocked to learn that this man is actually Kuro's true form. Kuro explains that he is a vampire and has now formed a contract with Mahiru because he has called out his name while he is in human form. The two of them can't be separated now, and Kuro explains this contract can be broken if he doesn't drink Mahiru's blood in the next 24 hours. Mahiru takes Kuro to his friends and tells them everything, but they don't believe him at all. However, a vampire named Belkia shows up and attacks one of Mahiru's friends, Ryu. Belkia shifts his attention to Mahiru, but then Kuro smacks him away and tries to escape with Mahiru. Our hero doesn't want to abandon Ryu, so he goes back to fight the vampire. Kuro feels inspired and saves Mahiru from a sword attack, after which he drinks some of his blood. Now Kuro activates his Servamp form and savagely slashes Belkia. He is about to kill Belkia, but Mahiru stops him from doing so. Belkia turns into a doll and mentions his master Tsubaki, who wants to take over the world. Belkia retreats and then both our heroes faint from exhaustion. Mahiru wakes up next to Kuro and rushes to school to check on Ryu. However, Ryu says he got injured in an accident instead of being bitten by Belkia. Later, Tsubaki finally shows up and reveals himself to be Kuro's little brother, even though Kuro rejects him. Tsubaki talks about the 7 true vampires, and he turns into a fox to prove he is related to Kuro. Mahiru is very confused by what Tsubaki is saying, but the villain says he wants to start a war simply because nobody knows who he is. Tsubaki attacks Kuro, but the cat vampire refuses to drink Mahiru's blood, so he gets dominated. Now Mahiru tries to reason with Tsubaki because he knows how he feels, but the villain attacks him instead. Luckily, Mahiru and Kuro are taken away by a man named Misono and his girls. Our heroes reach Misono's mansion, and then they meet Snow Lily, who loves to strip. Misono explains that people like him and Mahiru are Eves to vampires, but he is upset with Mahiru for not killing Tsubaki. Mahiru and Kuro escape an attack by Lily, and then they find a building filled with kids that are being protected by Misono. Realizing that he needs help protecting these kids, Mahiru offers his support to Misono. Later, our hero and Sakuya chill for a bit, but Sakuya suspects his friend is hiding something from him. The next day, Misono tells Mahiru that he needs to get a weapon, and then our hero is taken into Kuro's mind. Mahiru is asked to choose a present, and he picks a magic broom as his weapon. Belkia and Tsubaki have a meal together, and then they meet Sakuya, who is finally revealed to be a subclass vampire. Meanwhile, Mahiru is unable to awaken his powers and is told that he lacks resolve, which is why Kuro is also lazy. Mahiru wants to introduce his friends to Misono, but he is against the idea and goes to sleep when it's his bedtime. The next day, Mahiru goes looking for Sakuya, and that's when it starts to hit him that his memories with his buddy might be a lie. Now Sakuya takes Mahiru to an alley and traps him along with Kuro. Our hero is told that Sakuya had planted fake memories inside his head, and everything would have been different if he had just told Sakuya the truth about Kuro. Belkia also shows up, and both vampires dominate Kuro, who is unable to do anything because Mahiru still doesn't have any resolve. Luckily, Misono and Lily show up to protect our hero. Lily gets to work immediately and traps Belkia in Misono's chair. He slashes the villain, but leaves him alive for now. However, Sakuya taunts Misono, and it causes him to lose focus. This weakens Lily, and it allows Belkia to slash his leg with the help of a subclass girl. Misono gets slashed, and then Sakuya comes for Mahiru. Luckily, Mahiru summons his weapon and attacks Sakuya fiercely, while Tsubaki watches from a distance. Now Kuro feels energized and drinks Mahiru's blood. He unleashes a cat demon that covers everyone with poisonous gas. Sakuya wants to save Mahiru and reveals he is conflicted about his loyalties. Suddenly, the Servamp JJ arrives and subdues Kuro, after which he attacks Sakuya. Tsubaki orders his team to leave, and then Misono's team arrives to take their boss to safety. Now an Eve named Mikuni shows up and reveals he is JJ's master. However, he is also shown to be weird because of his obsession with the doll. Jeje doesn't seem to like his master and demands to drink his blood. Mikuni tells Mahiru that he can teach him how to nullify a Servamp contract, and then he disappears. Later, Tsubaki meets Mahiru in a restaurant and reveals that Sakuya lost his sister when she was pushed off a building to get life insurance benefits. Sakuya eventually killed himself as well, but then Tsubaki gave him his blood, thus making him subclass. Tsubaki walks away and Mahiru feels guilty for not understanding his friend. He goes to school looking for Sakuya, but he learns that he has transferred somewhere else. Mahiru doesn't give up and locates Sakuya during school festival. He chases him up the stairs and insists that they are friends, but Sakuya jumps off the building. Mahiru saves him by using his broom, and they crash into a forest. They bond with each other, but Sakuya vanishes because his ultimate loyalty is to Tsubaki. Tsubaki and his team play a game of cards with another subclass named Sham. Tsubaki comes up with an evil plan and laughs a bit too hard when he explains it. Later, Mahiru and Kuro bump into Sham, who gives them a briefcase. After that, Mahiru meets a Neve named Tetsu, who is carrying a giant coffin. Mahiru worries that the briefcase is a bomb, so he asks Kuro to throw it into the sky. However, the briefcase falls back into the ground, so Tetsu traps it in his coffin. A vampire named Yu wanders out of the coffin and is revealed to be Tetsu's Servamp. Later, Mahiru gets kidnapped while Kuro is attacked by some vampire hunters. Mahiru meets Toyuki, who is part of C3, an organization that aims to establish harmony between humans and vampires. Toyuki reveals that Tsubaki was once a part of C3's community, but he and his subclasses need to be killed. Mahiru is against this plan as he wants to save Sakuya, but then he is trapped behind 52 doors. He tries to find his way out of the room, but it's of no use. With no other choice, our hero uses his broom and breaks out of the facility, after which he rescues Kuro from the vampire hunters. Now Mahiru unites with Misono and is told about an Eve who had beaten up a subclass, so he and Kuro go after the target. This Eve's name is Lich, and he asks our heroes if they are angels or demons. Lich viciously attacks Kuro, but Mahiru saves his vampire and convinces Lich to release the vampire he is carrying with him. This vampire is named Lawless, who seems to have beef with Kuro. Mahiru wants Lich to work with him, but Lawless refuses the offer on his behalf. Later, Mahiru learns that Lich is actually a famous musician, and Lawless kills his Eves once he gets word of them. Our heroes go to meet Lich, but find that Lawless has killed all his audience members, who are revealed to be Tsubaki's subclasses. Lawless and Lich get into a brief battle, but Lich gets kicked away. Now Lawless attacks Kuro, and then he explains to Mahiru that the C3 had once asked the 7 vampires to kill their own creator. It eventually came down to a majority vote, with Kuro as the deciding factor. Now Kuro's murderous intentions wake up, and he fiercely battles Lawless. However, Lich gets annoyed and brings everyone to tears by playing his piano, which triggers their saddest memories. This specifically triggers Kuro, but then Lich's assistant Krantz arrives with Lawless's subclass Gil to ease the situation. One of Tsubaki's subclasses named Lila seems to have survived, so Lawless wants to kill him, but Mahiru stops him. Kuro seems to be in a trance now, so Mahiru asks Krantz for help. Our hero goes back to his team and tells them what happened. He says they can use Lila as leverage against Tsubaki, but then Kuro walks away. Mahiru goes to get him back, but gets spooked by Kuro's dark energy. The vampire turns back into a cat, so the coast is clear for now. Later, Mahiru talks to Lilac, who tells him about Higan, who is the strongest subclass. He also gets an update from Krantz, saying that Lich has gone missing. The piano star gets attacked by Higan, who has fire powers. Lich gets dominated, but luckily our hero shows up to save him. However, Kuro turns into a ball, and even the magic room gets absorbed into it. Lich decides he has to do all the fighting, so he unleashes a piano move and distracts Higan. However, Higan unleashes a finisher move and defeats Lich. Mahiru can't do anything, as Higan freezes him and leaves with Lich. Even Lawless has been taken in as a prisoner. So Mahiru and the team try to figure out a solution. Tsubaki calls Misono, who tries to use Lila as leverage for Lich. Tsubaki says he doesn't care about Lila, but later admits that he must change his plans. The team tries to figure out a solution to save Lich, but Mahiru feels guilty for not being the perfect partner for Kuro. Suddenly, Kuro wakes up in his ball and Mahiru is happy to see him, but the cat vampire said he'd much rather be inside this ball rather than face the real world. Mahiru shows Kuro to the others, but they can't see or hear him inside the ball. Tetsu figures he should slash the ball in half, but Mahiru decides it's a bad idea. Kranz joins the team, and they try to find a way to trick Tsubaki without risking Lilla. Kranz suggests using holy water, but accidentally knocks out Hugh during his presentation. The team considers using Jeje and Mikuni, but Misono is against the idea. Despite this, Mahiru enters a train to go meet Mikuni. He experiences a vision where he is attacked by Tsubaki, but snaps out of his trance and goes ahead. Unfortunately, it does turn out that Tsubaki is spying on our hero. Mahiru meets Dr. Johan at Mikuni's shop, and he is shown to be quite creepy. He gives Mahiru some shady coffee, and then Mikuni also arrives. Our hero learns that Mikuni and Misono are actually brothers, and continues to ask Mikuni for more information. Meanwhile, Misono identifies where Tsubaki is staying, so he, Lily, Tetsu, and Hugh decide to infiltrate the location. Mahiru learns that a Servamp can be killed if their tokens are broken by their eaves. In his case, the token is Kuro's cat bell. Mahiru wants to learn how to cure Kuro, but quickly faints after realizing his coffee was spiked. Now Misono's team goes to the hotel after seeing Tsubaki leave. However, he and Lily bump into Sakuya inside the elevator. A battle breaks out between them, while Jill and his whale surround Tsubaki. Gil says that Lily is inside one of the whale costumes, so Tsubaki decides to have some fun. Back at the elevator, Misono learns that all his calculations were wrong because Tsubaki wanted his team to come here. He and Lily continue to face off against Sakuya, while Tetsu and Yu have to face off against Higen and the other subclasses. Now Lich and Lawless have an argument on opposite side of the cell. They keep criticizing each other, so Lich breaks into Lawless's cell. The coffee drug takes Mahiru into Kuro's mind, and he hears the cat bell, so he follows the sign and finds himself inside a memory. This turns out to be the vote to decide if the 7 vampires will obey C3 and kill their teacher. After the tie, Kuro finally says that he will kill his creator. Lawless is against this and says that this man is their family, but Kuro ignores him and does the deed alone. Mahiru realizes that his Servamp is suffering from regret, so he follows Kuro's demon into a dark room, where he finds all of Kuro's conflicting thoughts. He finally spots Kuro, who is still trying to understand if he did the right thing. Mahiru gives him the confidence he needs, and then the duo is finally reunited. Now Lich and Lawless get into a fierce battle with each other. Lich lands a few blows and starts mocking Lawless, so he gets triggered and shows him his past. We see Lawless with a princess named Ophelia, who was his Eve 100 years ago. Lawless eventually falls in love with Ophelia, but she decides to marry a prince so that her kingdom can be at peace with him. Lawless wants to run away with Ophelia, but she decides that she must get married in order to avoid war. Lawless turns into a pet porcupine so that he isn't killed for being a vampire. However, Ophelia's kingdom wanted to use this marriage as a distraction so that they could attack her husband's kingdom. Now Ophelia is to be executed for her family's crimes, so Lawless gives her another chance to escape. However, she goes ahead with her sacrifice so that she can inspire peace between both kingdoms. Her farewell speech makes Lawless emotional, and it actually establishes the peace she wanted. However, a third kingdom eventually came in and destroyed both the other kingdoms, as well as the statue made in Ophelia's honor. This incident is what eventually made Lawless go crazy. Now Lich starts playing his piano and motivates Lawless to face his own emotions. It works, and Lawless finally unites with Lich, after which they go ahead and confront Higen. The duo gets into a fierce battle with Higen, where they unleash all their powers. It's a tough struggle, but they manage to land a couple of hits. However, Higen activates his vampire form and strikes both his opponents with his power boost. Meanwhile, Sakuya uses Tsubaki's blade to attack Lily and Misono. Luckily, Mikuni and Jeje come to the rescue and battle Sakuya. Tetsu and Hugh fight the others, but suddenly, Belkia transports Hugh to an unknown destination. Misono reaches the scene and tries to figure a plan of action, but then Kuro arrives as an overpowered lion with Mahiru riding on top of him. Our hero now has a spear, so he and Kuro unite to defeat all the subclasses by themselves. However, Higen defeats Lawless and Lich and taunts them both. Luckily, Lich paints a piano on Higen using his blood, and it allows him to trick Higen with his tunes. This is all Lawless needs, as he uses his porcupine form to defeat Higen. Now, everyone has united again, and Tetsu reveals that Lilla was inside his coffin the whole time, as Hill was only a distraction. Kuro sorts things out with Lawless, and it makes him emotional, so he finally reveals his true name to be Hyde. However, Lilla wants to take revenge on Lawless for killing his friends, so he snatches his chain. That's when Tsubaki shows up. The villain says that he is simply doing what his teacher would have wanted. He creates a storm and slashes Lawless, so Kuro gets into a sword fight with him. The cat vampire has to admit that Tsubaki is a hidden child of their creator, and then the villain demands to know his teacher's last words. Tsubaki and Kuro continue to fight, but then the villain rains his demon swords upon everyone in the city. Kuro wants to reason with Tsubaki, but gets stabbed when he says he doesn't know what his creator's last words were. It's looking tough for Kuro, so Mahiro protects him with his blade. With no other option, Kuro transforms into the Black Lion and dominates Tsubaki with ease, while the others find Hugh in an ambulance. Tsubaki still manages to attack Mahiro with his blade, but Sakuya sacrifices himself to save his friend. Kuro is about to kill Tsubaki, but Mahiro aggressively stops him. That's when his spear becomes a key and he puts it inside Tsubaki. Our hero visits Tsubaki's memory, where he lost his teacher and learns that this incident made him want revenge on Kuro. Now Tsubaki attacks Mahiro, but Kuro turns human again and saves him. An intense battle follows, but Mahiro stops Tsubaki from falling and finally shows him true compassion. This makes the villain rethink his life, and he cures Sakuya, after which he vanishes from the scene. Now everyone is back to their normal lives. Like, share, and subscribe for more recaps. Hit the bell icon for regular notifications. See you soon!